Well, good evening, all. It's the old redneck again. Day 25 of the California lockdown, the Wahoo virus, flu, or whatever you want to call it. Things are getting strange, a little testy out here in sunny California. As people know, I'm an essential worker because I clean tankers for a living. Tankers got to be cleaned before they haul the next product, swishing products or whatever. We clean both chemical trailers and food grade trailers. Before this lockdown, we were averaging anywhere from 15 to 20 food grade trailers a week, and anywhere between I'd say 30 and 100 chemical tankers a week. Since the lockdown, our numbers have dropped drastically. Case in point, the last 7 days, we did 1 food grade tanker. Week before this, we did 3. A week before that, we did 5. So that tells me plants are cutting back or closing down. Chemical industry is also having the same problems because we're not cleaning that many chemical tanks. Total for the week, this week was about, I'd say 56, 57 tanks. Usually it's closer to 90 to 100. Now I'm saying that in retrospect, just put things in perspective. I've heard from drivers that their plant's closing down back east and blah, 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 blah. I took it as a grain of salt. I'm starting to hear news reports of possible food shortages going to be happening because meat plants are being closed down due to people having coronavirus. Well, the funny thing is, I've noticed in the supermarkets, the meat prices are going up. So there's a problem someplace. Heard from a friend of mine on the East Coast today that she heard the food plants are closing down. Sent me a video of Glenn Beck talking to one of our representatives who said the food plants are closing down because people are getting the virus. When you close 6 slaughterhouses in the United States, it's going to put a dent in the meat market. Now, I agree with that representative that things should be left under local control, let local slaughterhouses deal with the locals and sell to the locals. Whether that'll ever happen, I don't know. But I tell you this, people, I have a bad feeling this is going to get a whole lot worse. Not because of the virus, but maybe partially because of the virus. But because they don't have the test kits to test everybody 3 times. You can test somebody once and have it come up a false positive or a false negative, blah, blah, blah. Now, we've already heard of dairy farmers dumping their milk. And that's understandable when, a good 75% of their business was universities and colleges, daycares, things that are all closed down now, so they're not getting the orders for the milk. We only have so much storage space for it. But now we're going to start seeing the meat packers and all that, slaughterhouses all closing down. You're going to see, it's going to be, dare I say it, like a depression. Standing in line to be able to buy a pound of hamburger because there's limits on it because they're so short of it. Bernie Sanders may be out of it, but it looks like his way of life that he loves so well, along with AOC, is probably going to end up happening due to this virus. And it worries me. But We'll see what all the talking heads have to say. Naturally, it's all Trump's fault, whatever. You know, I know one thing. The man's got a hell of a job to do, and I wouldn't want to have his job. And if I ain't willing to stand in his place, I ain't willing to criticize him for it. He's doing the best he can with what he's got to work with. I still think this could have all been avoided if the Congress and the Senate had worked with him beforehand. But as Pelosi said on a newscast, well, we knew the coronavirus was coming, but the impeachment was more important. And now she's trying to play that same freaking game with the coronavirus. And they don't want to have a voice, they don't want to have an in-person vote for any of these stimulus things, because that way they have deniability. Of course, it's against the Constitution in a sense. But what do I know? I'm just a dumbass. But it's Friday night. It's now 10:30 California time. I'm going to cut this one short. I'm not going to rip into anybody too much. I will say this, if you have a chance, people, you need to stock up on groceries for your house. You got a freezer, use it. Get canned goods, if nothing else. Because hard times, they are coming. Hope I'm wrong, but I think I'm right. This is the old redneck. You got a comment, leave one down below. Want to bitch me up, send me an email, redneckrebel1956@gmail.com. As always, remember our service people serving overseas. Remember the vets that have come home, the ones coming home. Give them a hand up, not a handout. And let's pray for all the people that are affected by this thing, both the Americans here and the Americans overseas trying to get home. Let's get this disease killed before we start fixing blame on who's at fault. My granddad used to say there's always a time and place for everything. This is not the time nor the place to be doing that. It's time for us to turn around, grab our bootstraps, dig in, and beat this damn thing. But right now, it's Friday night. I'm going to go back to my dinner and my beer. And probably smoke a cigarette or two, which I haven't done through this whole video. I want to make my wife happy. But I wish you all the best. Good health, happiness. Make sure you keep your 6 feet distance. And we'll be talking tomorrow. Good night, all. Bye.